Hey there, coin hunters, casual change checkers, and professional pocket inspectors. Let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? I mean, really looked. I'm talking squinting eyes, magnifying glass, maybe even whispering sweet nothings to your loose change, hoping it talks back. Yeah, same here. But what if I told you that one specific little brown coin from 1988 with no mint mark could be worth not 10, not 100, not even 1,000, but a whopping $1.1 million? Yeah, you heard that right. This is not some made-up story or urban legend about magical coins. This is real. We're diving into the curious case of the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny and why you should definitely stop throwing your pennies into the couch cushion. So buckle up, grab a snack, maybe dig through your change jar, because by the end of this video you might be staring at $1 million penny without even knowing it. Most pennies minted in Philadelphia have no mint mark, while others from Denver have a little D and San Francisco has an S. But here's where things get spicy. In 1988, the US Mint made a boo-boo. A few Lincoln pennies that should have had a mint mark or had the correct design ended up with something totally off. They used the wrong die. Yep, someone had one job and they messed it up gloriously. The result, a rare variation of the 1988 penny without a mint mark. But that's not all. This particular version has a telltale sign. Look closely at the letter G in the word Liberty. If it has a sharp serif or a funny-looking curve, it could be part of the rare batch. Why does this matter? Because that specific error combined with no mint mark makes it extremely collectible, and coin nerds like myself go bananas over this kind of thing. So picture this: it's a regular Tuesday morning. I'm half asleep pouring coffee and I see my kid playing pirate with a handful of change from the junk drawer. You know, standard treasure hunting stuff. I hear him say, "This one's shiny," and I glance over expecting some random Canadian penny, but nope, it's a 1988 no mint mark. My eyes go wide. I grab the loop and boom, it has the error, the sharp G, the whole deal. Now don't get too excited. I had to send it in to get authenticated, and unfortunately mine was just a lookalike. But let me tell you, those 3 days waiting for the results, I was planning my private island and yacht named Pennywise. Well, it's all about rarity and condition. There are only a handful of verified 1988 no mint mark error pennies in pristine condition, graded by professionals, and those babies are fetching crazy prices at auction. Collectors are willing to pay a fortune for what seems like a simple mistake, and let's be honest, most of us toss our change in a jar without a second thought. Meanwhile, someone out there is flipping pennies like lottery tickets. So how do you know if you've got the good one? Step 1, grab all your 1988 pennies. Step 2, look for the absence of a mint mark. Step 3, check that G in Liberty you want the wrong font. Basically, step 4, if you think it's special, get it authenticated by a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, a quick warning: there are a lot of fakes and altered coins floating around out there, so if someone in a trench coat at a gas station tries to sell you a super rare penny, just back away slowly and maybe call someone. And hey, if your coin turns out to be the $1 million one, just remember me when you're rich. I like coffee, chocolate, and the idea of never paying rent. Again, so what's the takeaway here? Don't sleep on your change drawer. That little copper coin you're about to spend on gum could be the golden ticket to financial freedom. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny with the error is the real deal, a collector's dream hiding in plain sight. So go on, get digging, check your pockets, check your jars, check behind the couch. If nothing else, you'll clean up some clutter, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble upon a life-changing little piece of history. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, had a laugh, or learned something new, smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. I drop videos just like this all the time, full of coin facts, laughs, and ways you can make your spare change not so spare anymore. Hit that bell so you don't miss out on future treasure, and leave a comment if you think you've got a rare coin lurking around. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters, coin collectors, and folks who just happened to click because the thumbnail said something about $1 million penny. Yeah, you read that right, a penny worth 12 followed by 5 zeros. Sounds like a prank, right? But nope, it's very real and very valuable. Today we're talking about one of the most unexpected little copper superstars out there, the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin you might have used to pay for bubblegum or maybe lost in the couch cushions. Well, if you've got one of these in your pocket or piggy bank, it could be worth up to $12 million. That's not a typo, that's a legit small fortune in the size of a coin that literally says 1 cent. So grab a drink, kick back, and let's dive into this wild coin tale that could turn your spare change into serious change. Alright, first things first, you're probably wondering what's so special about this particular penny. I mean, it's just from 1986, right? Not that old, not super shiny, not commemorating any moon landing. So what gives? Well, here's the deal: the 1986 Lincoln penny that's missing a mint mark is what we call a mint error. Yep, it's like the mint fell asleep at the coin making wheel and forgot to stamp it with a mint mark. The usual suspects for Lincoln pennies are D for Denver and S for San Francisco. If it has nothing under the date, that usually means it was struck in Philadelphia. But in 1986 something weird happened. Some pennies came out with no mint mark and no sign of being made in Philly. Either these weren't your everyday no mint mark coins, these were the coin version of a unicorn. Mistakes like these are rare and collectors love rare, especially when it's a weird little error that shouldn't exist, and because of that little missing letter some of these coins are now worth big bucks, especially if they're in mint condition. Pun totally intended. Back in the early 2000s I was helping my grandma clean out her garage and we stumbled on this old dusty coffee tin full of pennies, like hundreds of them. I remember groaning, thinking, oh great, more work, right? But being the curious soul I am, I started going through them, tossing aside the crusty ones. When I found this oddly clean shiny 1986 penny with no mint mark at the time, I thought, hey cool, it looks newer, maybe I'll keep it for luck, so I tossed it in my wallet and forgot about it. Fast forward to a couple years later, I was broke in college and paid for a vending machine snack with that very penny. You know how people say you can taste regret? Well, I tasted it in the form of stale peanut min ms, because not long after I learned that some 1986 no mint mark pennies are worth over $1 million. So moral of the story, always check your change folks, always. Alright, you're probably thinking cool, I'm convinced, but how do I know if my 1986 penny is the magical golden ticket version? 1. Make sure it has no mint mark under the year, like nothing, not a zip. 2. The coin should be in excellent condition, we're talking mint state, preferably MS67 or higher. That means no major scratches, no finger smudges, no signs that it's been through 27 laundry cycles. 3. Weight matters. These coins should weigh about 25 grams. If yours weighs less or more, it might be a fake, or it might be a different error entirely, which could still be valuable, just not this valuable. 4. And this is important, you might want to have your coin graded professionally by PCGS or NGC. These guys are like the Michelin star judges of the coin world. They'll tell you exactly what condition your coin is in and whether it's got the $1 million magic. So let's talk numbers right now. As of this year 2025, this rare 1986 no mint mark penny in top condition has been sold at auction for as much as $12 million. Yes, million with an M. Collectors, especially those who specialize in mint error coins, are actively hunting for these. It's not just a collector's piece, it's also a historical mistake, and that makes it a conversation starter and an investment you've got a few options: eBay, heritage auctions, great collections, or even contacting a certified coin dealer. But before you go all Dragon's Den on your coin, make sure it's the real deal. Now, you didn't think I'd leave you with just one coin tip, right? Oh no, I got you. Here are a few more coins you might want to keep your eyes peeled for. The 1943 copper penny, yep, worth over $1 million. The 1955 double die penny, looks like Abe had a twin in the printing room. The 1992 close AM penny, a printing spacing error, that's worth thousands. So the world of coins is full of these tiny errors that can make a huge difference, and the best part, they're still out there in circulation. People use them every day without realizing it. You might have even gotten one in change today at Starbucks and didn't even notice. So there you have it, folks, the unassuming little 1986 penny with no mint mark that's quietly turning heads in bank accounts everywhere. Moral of the story: check your change, don't underestimate the power of a tiny copper coin. And for the love of Lincoln, please don't spend that weird shiny penny on vending machine snacks like I did. Trust me, the M&Ms aren't worth it. If you liked this video and want to hear more about crazy coin finds, valuable pennies, and how you might be sitting on a retirement fund in your coin jar, then hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment telling me if you've ever found a weird coin or had a lucky money moment. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just make you rich. Alright, let me hit you with this question straight off the bat. What if I told you that sitting in your old coin jar next to that dusty paperclip and expired Chuck E. Cheese token could be a penny worth $1.3 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.3 million for a penny, a 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny to be exact. Now, before you go flipping every cushion in your house or emptying the vacuum bag, hang tight, because today we're gonna dive into everything you need to know about this little copper celebrity, why it's worth so much, what makes it special, how you might actually have one, and trust me, we're gonna have some laughs along the way, because nothing says fun like hunting for buried treasure in your sock drawer. Let's talk about the 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now, back in 1968, the U.S. Mint was doing its usual thing, cranking out coins like they had a quota to meat in a pot of coffee. To finish, they made Lincoln pennies in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco. Now here's the kicker: Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark, so no mint mark just means it came from Philly. But not all Philly coins are created equal. You see, the vast majority of 1968 pennies were made with your typical copper composition, and nobody batted an eye. But a small number of these no mint mark pennies came out looking and acting a little different. Some of them had die errors, some had double dies, some were struck with unusually high detail or on experimental planchets, and then once in a blue moon you get one that's not just rarite, super rare, like unicorn rare, like finding your high school mixtape on a vinyl record rare, and collectors go nuts for that kind of thing. There's this one 1968 no mint mark penny that showed up at an auction and completely shocked the numismatic world. Perfect strike, insanely high grade, minted on a transitional planchet, and it sold for, drumroll please, $1.3 $1 million, that's not a typo, that's not a prank, that's not me after 3 cups of coffee and no sleep, that's a real number for a real penny. Now, before you start yelling at your piggy bank, let's talk about how to identify if you have one of these $1 million babies. First, check the date, 1968, got it, good, no mint mark under the date. Still with me, awesome. Look at the condition, is it shiny like it just left the factory, or does it look like it got chewed on by your dog and run over by your neighbors? Lawnmower weary, talking MS67 or higher, that's coin collector lingo for mint state and basically means flawless or super close to it. If your coin looks like it's had a rough life at the bottom of a kid's toy box, probably not the $1 million one, but don't lose hope because even lower grades can still be worth good money depending on the era. And did I mention some of these rare ones have doubling on the in God we trust? Or Liberty, yeah, double die errors can take a penny from boring to baller status real fast. So back when I was in college, I worked part-time at this dusty old bookstore, minimum wage, lots of sneezing, but I loved it anyway. One day this guy comes and pays for his books in cash and drops a handful of change on the counter. I toss it in the register like usual, but something about 1 penny catches my eye. It just looked different, like the details were sharper, the color was a bit off, and the edges were crisp. So after my shift I swap it out with one of my own and toss it in my backpack. Fast forward a few years, I stumble on that same penny and decide to get it appraised. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was worth over $300 for a penny. That's like turning a Taco Bell napkin into a dinner at Ruth's Chris, all because I paid attention. Moral of the story, always check your change, you never know. Alright folks, let's wrap this up before we all run off to tear through our coin jars and couch cushions. The 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to a big payday. It's rare, it's valuable, and it's hiding in plain sight. You don't need to be a coin expert or a history nerd to get in on the action. Just a little curiosity, a decent eye, and maybe a magnifying glass if your vision's anything like mine after a Netflix binge. So here's your homework, go check those pennies, hit up garage sales, flea markets, thrift stores, dig through grandma's junk drawer. Who knows, maybe you're sitting on a small fortune. And if you want more tips, tricks, and downright shocking stories about coins worth crazy money, smash that subscribe button, tap that like, ring the bell so you never miss a beat. We might be talking about that weird nickel in your laundry pile or that dime in your glove compartment that's secretly worth more than your car. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Let me hit you with a quick question. Have you ever tossed a penny on the ground because, it's just a penny? Well, buckle up, because that little copper-colored coin might just be your golden ticket. Today we're diving into the mind-blowing story of a 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for a staggering $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny. 1 cent. And someone paid enough for it to buy a Lamborghini, a house in the suburbs, and still have enough left over for unlimited Taco Tuesdays. So stick around, because in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this coin, why it's worth a small fortune, how you can check if you have one, and I'll even sprinkle in some laughs, personal stories, and coin tips you don't want to miss. Alright, let's get into it. So, first things first. The 2013 penny looks pretty regular at first glance. It's got OL Abe Lincoln on the front, just chillin' like he's been doing since 1909. On the back, you've got the Union Shield, the newer design they rolled out in 2010. Most 2013 pennies were made in Philadelphia, and coins from Philly usually don't have a mint mark. So you might be thinking, okay, so what makes this one special? And that's a good question, my curious coin comrades. It's not just any 2013 no mint mark penny, it's a very specific era coin. We're talking ultra rare, freak of nature, born under a full moon kind of penny. This bad boy has some crazy minting errors, and collectors eat that stuff up like it's the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party. Some of the rare 2013 era pennies have off-center strikes, double dies, or weird metal compositions. One of them even had a weird planchet mix-up, where it was struck on a blank meant for a different coin entirely. When something goes wrong at the mint in just the right way, that's when the magic and the money happens. Alright, let's talk numbers. A penny is worth, well, 1 cent unless it's something out of the ordinary. Then collectors go bananas. The 2013 no mint mark penny that fetched $1.4 million? It was a perfect storm. Mint error? Check. Uncirculated condition? Check. Rarity? Triple check. And here's the kicker, it got graded at MS70. That's like Olympic gold medal perfect. No scratches, no wear, not even a sneeze on it. That's mint state perfection, Coin collectors love perfection the way kids love candy. And when you've got a coin that's one of a kind and flawless, it becomes the holy grail. And when something's that rare, the price skyrockets. Supply and demand, baby. Plus, when a coin like that hits the auction block, it's like a bidding war between billionaires who already have everything except that penny. And that's how you end up with a 1-cent piece selling for more than most people's life savings. So a few years back, I was helping my aunt clean out her old garage. You know the kind of spider webs, boxes from 1983, a Christmas wreath with one eyeball. Anyway, we came across this old cookie tin, and inside? A whole mess of pennies. Now I'm not saying I found $1 million coin in there, spoiler alert, I didn't, but I did find a 1982 small date copper penny that ended up being worth over $100. That's more than 100 times its face value. And to think, she almost threw it in the trash. The horror, that moment taught me to never underestimate pocket change. What you think is junk might just be jackpot. Now before you run to flip every couch cushion in your house, let me give you a few tips on spotting a valuable 2013 penny. Look closely for doubled letters or numbers, especially on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. Use a magnifying glass, or better yet, one of those nerdy coin microscopes. Trust me, it's worth the nerd points. Look at the edges and the strike. If anything looks funky, off-center, or uneven, it might be a keeper. Condition is king. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's probably just a penny. But if it's super shiny and looks uncirculated? That's when your spidey sense should start tingling. Get it graded. If you think you've got something special, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. It'll cost a bit, but it's worth it if you hit the jackpot. The tale of a humble little 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that turned out to be worth more than most cars, college degrees, and entire wedding budgets combined. Don't ignore your change. Don't underestimate that coin jar in your kitchen. And for the love of Lincoln, check your pennies. You could be sitting on a fortune, and all it takes is a little curiosity and a magnifying glass. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips on coins that are worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell like it owes you money. I've got more stories, tips, and coin secrets coming your way, and you don't want to miss out. Leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or just want to brag about your coolest pocket change. I read every single one, even the ones from that guy who always says first. Hey coin hunters, welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just make you a millionaire. And today, oh man, you're in for a treat because we're diving into a coin that's turning heads, melting minds, and basically blowing up the numismatic world. Yep, we're talking about the 1993 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. That's right, a penny that's currently valued at $1.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, a single cent that's worth more than most houses now. Before you start flipping every coin jar and raiding grandma's kitchen drawer, take a breath. We're gonna break this down nice and easy like a grilled cheese on a Sunday afternoon. But first, here's a quick little story from yours truly that just might change the way you look at spare change forever. A few years ago, I was at this local flea market just browsing for some random stuff, maybe an old comic or vintage sign, and there was this old guy with a dusty shoebox of coins selling them for 50 cents a piece. Now I'm not saying I found $1 million penny that day, but I did snag a rare wheat penny that later sold for over $300, and let me tell you, it paid for my gas food and a brand new chair for coin collecting. Moral of the story: you never know what kind of treasure is hiding in plain sight. So what makes the 1993 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so dang valuable? Why is a tiny copper-colored coin from the early 90s making such a huge splash in the collector's world? In 1993, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. And most of them were minted in Philadelphia, which usually doesn't have a mint mark at all, unlike Denver, which shows a nice little D on the coin, and San Francisco, which pops out that classy S for proof coins. Among those billions of pennies, a few freaks of nature slipped through the cracks. These rare 1993 no-mint Mark Lincoln pennies were struck with some kind of wild error. Maybe it was a double die, maybe a planchet issue, maybe the mint employee just had a rough day and hit the machine with a coffee mug. Who knows? These coins often show strange anomalies like missing details in Lincoln's hair, weird spacing in the letters on the reverse, or that glorious doubling that makes collectors scream like they just saw a ghost, but a valuable ghost. Now let's talk about the $1.5 million baby. This specific 1993 penny was found in near mint condition with a jaw-dropping error that numismatists went bananas over. It had a strong doubled die on both the obverse and reverse, and the luster on this thing could practically blind you in the sunlight. It was graded by a top-tier service as a near-perfect example, and when it hit the auction block, collectors went full-on Shark Tank mode in the final bid. Yep, $1.5 million. I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool story, but what if I have one sitting in a jar right now? Well, buddy, that's why I'm here. Grab a magnifying glass and examine the date, the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," and then flip that bad boy and check United. States of America 1 cent and e pluribus unum. If you see any doubling weird shadows or letters that look like they were copied by someone drinking too much coffee, you might be sitting on a jackpot. Also pay attention to the condition. Is the coin shiny or is it scratched up like it's been through a blender? Coins in better condition always fetch higher prices, and those with verified mint errors, especially rare ones like die breaks, off center strikes, or major doubling, are the ones collectors go absolutely nuts over. And if you think you've got something hot, don't just throw it on eBay for $5. Get it graded. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin and skyrocket its value. Plus, buyers trust coins that come with that official slab of approval. Oh, and while we're on the topic of grading, here's a little side note. My cousin once found a shiny penny with a weird mark on it, swore up and down it was rare. I told him get it graded. He said, nah bro, it's obviously worth something. Listed it online and got $20 for it. 2 months later, that same buyer flipped it for $460 after grading. The look on my cousin's face was priceless. Anyway, back to our 1993 beauty. Another fun fact: this coin has started to trend among collectors, so the demand is growing, and when demand grows, prices usually do too. Some collectors believe we haven't even seen the ceiling on this coin's value, so if you have one, now might be the perfect time to get it checked out or tuck it away in a safe and see where the market takes it in a few years. So there you have it, folks, the 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a simple little copper coin that might be chilling in your change bowl or stuck between your couch cushions, and it's worth more than most people's cars, sometimes their entire garage. Don't underestimate the power of a penny, especially when it comes with a story and a serious collector market. If you found this video helpful or at least mildly entertaining, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this about coins that are secretly worth thousands or even millions, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a shot at turning spare change into real cash. Hey, coin lovers and casual couch treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be your early retirement plan. Today I've got a story that might just make you check every single penny in your house, under your couch, in your junk drawer, maybe even in that one cup in your car that smells like 2013. We're talking about the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that recently made headlines because someone sold it for a mind-melting, jaw-dropping, brain-exploding $1.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.6 million for a single little copper-colored coin that probably got rejected by 5 vending machines before landing in someone's lucky hands. So buckle up, because I'm about to walk you through what makes this penny so special, how you might find one, how to avoid getting scammed, and I'll even sprinkle in a personal story that involves me, my dad, and an awkward trip to the bank. Let's get into it before someone finds one of these $1 million coins while you're still debating if checking your change is worth it. Alright, so let's break this down like your uncle breaks his diet at Thanksgiving. We're talking about the 2016 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. What does that mean? Well, normally pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so no big deal. Right, wrong, big deal, huge deal, because this specific no mint mark penny has a few very special things going on. Let's talk condition first. This $1 million coin wasn't just any old penny that went through 3 washing machines and a toddler's digestive system. This one was in pristine condition, mint state 69, basically perfection with a tiny invisible flaw, because humans can't handle true perfection. Right now, here's where it gets wild. This penny has a rare die error and a double die obverse translation. The design on the front of the coin looks like it's doubled, especially around Lincoln's eye, and the words "In God We Trust" looks like God got a little echo when this one was made. That doubling combined with no mint mark and the flawless condition creates a perfect storm of coin collector desire. This is like the Pokemon Charizard of pennies, the one everyone wants but only a few people will ever actually find. So how did it end up selling for $1.6 million? A bidding warplane, and simple collectors went nuts, and can you blame them? It's like finding a golden ticket to the chocolate factory, but instead of chocolate you get a retirement home in Florida. Now if you're thinking, okay, how the heck do I find one of these? I got you covered. First, grab a magnifying glass or use the zoom on your phone camera. Check your 2016 pennies. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the words especially that "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If anything looks doubled or slightly funky, congrats, you might have something rare. Next, look at the condition. If it's scratched, dinged, or has gum on it, you probably don't have the $1 million version, but hey, even a rare coin in not perfect shape could still fetch you a few $100. A couple years ago I found a shiny 2016 penny and I was convinced it was the one. I was practically dancing around the house talking about early retirement planning, what I'd buy on Amazon first, and calling my dad like it was an emergency. He shows up and I hand him this penny like it's the Hope Diamond. We go to a coin dealer and the guy looks at me like I just asked if I could trade a Cheerio for a Tesla. Turns out it was just a shiny penny, but you know what? That moment taught me something. Every penny has potential, and the excitement of the hunt is half the fun. Just like dating, except with coins, you might actually find something valuable. Always check the year, the mint mark, and the condition. Use a coin scale and a coin microscope if you're serious. If you think you found something, take it to a certified coin dealer or grading service, and never clean a coin with chemicals or toothpaste unless you want to instantly destroy its value. Faster than you can say oops. Also, just a fun fact, the 2016 Lincoln Penny still features the same portrait designed by Victor David Brenner from way back in 1909 that's over a century of Honest Abe staring into your soul. So there you have it, folks, the 2016 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny that's worth more than most people's cars, or in some cases their homes. It's real, it's rare, and it's out there, maybe in your change jar, maybe in your car, maybe in that drawer that also holds expired gum and 3 packs of ketchup. So check your coins, do it now, do it later, do it every time you get change from the store. You never know when $1 million surprise might be hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into coin hunting and cashing in on what looks like spare change, then hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Tap that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn how to turn pennies into pure profit. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you've got a story about mistaking a regular penny for a jackpot. I'd love to hear it and laugh with you, not at you probably. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes on your coins because your next trip to the gas station might just make you a millionaire. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be worth more than your car. Today we're diving into a story so crazy you might just go digging through your couch cushions before this video is over. Let me ask you something, when was the last time you looked at a penny and thought, this could buy me a mansion? Yeah, probably never, right? But that changes today because we're talking about the legendary 1984 Lincoln Penny and why one of these babies sold for a jaw-dropping $17 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a little copper coin that most people toss in a tip jar or leave on the sidewalk just might be your ticket to millionaire status. So grab a snack, kick back, and let's talk about one of the wildest money stories you've probably never heard. So let's start with the basics. The 1984 Lincoln Penny is just like any other penny, right? It's got good ol' Honest Abe sitting there looking very presidential, like he's got no idea he's about to make you rich. But here's the kicker, not all 1984 pennies are created equal. Oh no, some of them have something a little special, and if you're lucky enough to have that special one, well, let's just say you'll want to handle it with more care than your grandma's fine china. Let me take you back a few years. I was at this local flea market walking past old books, weird lamps, and what I swear was a taxidermy ferret, and I saw a little box of coins marked 10 cents each. I figured, why not? Right, I mean, I've wasted more on gas station snacks, so I grabbed a few coins from the box, including a 1984 penny, thinking, hey cool, I remember these from my allowance days. Tossed it in my pocket and went home. Later that night I'm scrolling through coin forums, yes, I'm that person, and I see a post that stops me in my tracks. Someone had sold a 1984 penny for over $1 million because of a minting error called a doubled ear. A doubled ear sounds like something your dog might have, but in the coin world it's like hitting the jackpot. Basically what happened was, during minting the machine struck the coin just a tiny bit off, causing Lincoln's ear to look like he's got a little echo going on, almost like his ear has an evil twin. Collectors go nuts for this stuff, and the more perfect the error, the more zeros on the price tag. Now obviously I sprinted to my coin jar, dumped it out like a raccoon on espresso, and tried to find my flea market penny. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the one, but hey, the hope was real, and that's what makes coin hunting so fun. Now here's where the numbers get even more interesting. As of this year, a top quality 1984 penny with that doubled ear error was valued at around $17 million. That's not a typo, 17 with an M. Why so much, you ask? Well, it's all about rarity, demand, and condition. There are only a handful of these error coins known to exist, and even fewer in pristine condition, the kind of condition where you look at it and wonder if it's ever even touched human hands. And when collectors want something that rare, they throw cash like it's confetti at a New Year's Eve party. But don't just look for the doubled ear, there are other things to keep an eye on too, like off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and die cracks, which sound like a crime but are actually a good thing for collectors. So how do you know if your penny is worth big bucks? First, grab a magnifying glass and look at Abe's ear. If it looks like he's been cloned or has an extra lobe, congrats, you might be sitting on gold, or at least a lot of copper. Second, check the mint mark. That little D under the date stands for Denver, where the coin was minted. That's the key mint for this specific valuable version. And finally, make sure the coin is in good shape. Scratches and dings are like kryptonite to coin value. The cleaner it looks, the more collectors are willing to pay. I always say coin collecting is like dating. If it looks nice and has no baggage, it's probably a keeper. Alright friends, we've covered a lot today, from double ears to ferret, taxidermy, flea market finds. Who knew a tiny penny from 1984 could be worth a Hollywood salary, right? So next time you get change at the store or clean out your car, take a second look, because you never know what little treasure might be hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed this video, had a laugh, or just want to know which coins can make you rich without robbing a bank, hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and turn on those notifications. We're dropping coin tips all the time to help you find hidden fortune in the most unexpected places. Alright folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into a wild story about a penny that's worth more than most houses. Yeah, you heard that right. Imagine finding a 2006 Lincoln penny and realizing it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. That's not just life-changing, that's cancel all your debt and go buy a lake house kind of money. And now I know what you're thinking. A modern penny? From 2006? Come on, there's no way it's that valuable. But trust me, this isn't some made-up fairy tale. By the end of this video, you're gonna be double-checking every penny you own, your grandma owns, and probably your neighbor's couch cushions too. So grab a snack, sit back, and get ready to learn about a little coin with a very big price tag. The 2006 penny was minted in Denver. That's what the little D under the date stands for. Now, in most cases, this penny is just your regular run-of-the-mill change. But every now and then, one of these coins slips out with a flaw, an error, or a unique characteristic that makes collectors lose their minds. So what's the deal? What makes this particular 2006 D penny worth $1.8 million? Well, it's all about rarity, condition, and a little sprinkle of mystery. There's a small batch, very small, of 2006 D Lincoln pennies that were struck on the wrong planchet. That means instead of being made on the regular penny metal, these were mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for foreign coins or sometimes even nickels or dimes. We're talking major minting error. And if that wasn't wild enough, some even have doubled dies or off-center strikes. Now combine that with pristine condition, what the coin nerds call MS-70 or close to it, and you've got yourself a $1 million baby. So how do we get to that $1.8 million price tag? Simple. It all comes down to collector demand and auction results. The most pristine example of this error coin, one with a near-perfect surface, no scratches, and a jaw-dropping error, sold at auction for, you guessed it, $1.8 million. That sale sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world. People were checking their change like it was a treasure map. I mean, who needs Bitcoin when you've got a penny like that? Now let me tell you a little story. A couple years ago, I was at a garage sale. I wasn't even looking for coins, just hunting for an old lamp because my cat knocked mine off the nightstand. Anyway, I paid for the lamp with $20 and got some change back. Didn't think much of it. Later that night, I dumped the change on the table and started sorting through it. Just a little habit I've had since I was a kid, and there it was, a 2006 D penny. Shiny. Suspiciously clean. My heart skipped. I ran to my magnifying glass, pulled up some reference photos, checked the weight, the rim, the lettering. Turned out it wasn't the $1 million one. Just a regular OL penny, but that moment? That thrill? That little what if? That's what keeps us all searching. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to find the next big one. First, check the weight. It should be 2.5 grams for a standard penny. If it's heavier or lighter, that's a red flag in a good way. Look for errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or any weirdness in the lettering. If Lincoln looks like he's melting or his eye looks like he's had too much coffee, that could be a good sign. Use a magnifying glass. Your eyes can only do so much, my friend. Zoom in. Details matter, and lastly, if you find anything even a little unusual, don't chuck it back in the jar. Hold on to it and take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it for grading. Segment 5. What makes coins valuable anyway? Coins are little time machines. They tell stories. And collectors, well, they'll pay big money for the rare ones, the misfits, the coins that slip through the cracks of the mint with a quirk. It's not just about age, it's about rarity, condition, and that little twist that makes a coin unique. And the 2006 D penny? That's a perfect example. That even a modern penny can turn out to be a $1 million jackpot. That errors aren't always mistakes, they're opportunities. And that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in plain sight. So next time you get some change back from the grocery store, take a second look. Who knows? You could be holding a tiny copper fortune in your hand. Now before you go digging through your coin jar like a pirate hunting for treasure, do me a quick favor, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, stories, and strategies on spotting coins worth serious cash. And hey, who doesn't want a little extra money from something as simple as pocket change? Smash that like button, drop a comment if you've ever found something cool in your change, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright folks, picture this. You're going through your change jar, the one that's been collecting dust since the last time you tried to organize your life, and you find an old penny. Now, it's not just any penny. It's a 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. And here's the kicker, it could be worth $1.1 million. Yes, I said million with an M. Now, before you go tossing it into the wishing well, let me explain why this humble penny is more like a golden ticket in disguise. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to spot this rare coin, how it got so valuable, and maybe even how you can cash in on your own treasure trove of pennies. Don't miss it! Let's dive right in, shall we? So, the 1989 Lincoln penny. Looks pretty normal, right? You've seen thousands of them, or maybe just a few if you're that one person who always gets rid of their loose change. But here's the twist: some of these pennies, specifically the ones without the mint mark, are worth a ton of money. Normally, you'd expect to see a mint mark on the front of the coin, like a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But, for some reason, the 1989 penny was issued without one. Cue dramatic music. Now, why does that little missing mint mark make this penny so special? Well, turns out, it's a rare mistake, and collectors love rare stuff. The theory is that a batch of these pennies slipped through the cracks without the mint mark, and boom, you've got yourself a coin that's now worth over $1.1 million. Yep, that little copper disc is practically screaming, "I'm a collector's dream." Alright, before you start pawing through every penny you've ever seen, let's go over how you can actually tell if your 1989 penny is worth anything. First, you need to check the mint mark. If there's no D or S, you've got the right kind of coin. Then, give it a good once-over for any other signs that might make it even more valuable, like minting errors or really nice condition. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I've gone through my own stash of change before, and let me just say, I've had some seriously disappointing moments. Like the time I thought I had found a rare 1964 penny, but it turned out to just be a dirty, corroded one. I mean, hey, we've all been there, right? We get so excited, and then, it's just a regular penny with a little more personality. So, back to the 1989 no mint mark penny, check the condition. A shiny, pristine example could be worth a lot more. The rarer the coin, the more valuable it becomes. But remember, finding one in mint condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, why is this penny worth so much? Is it magic? No, sadly, we haven't unlocked the secret to coin wizardry just yet. The value comes from its rarity and the demand for it among collectors. There aren't many of these no mint mark 1989 pennies floating around, and people love to get their hands on something rare, especially when it's linked to Abraham Lincoln's iconic image. He's probably rolling in his grave thinking, "How did my face end up on this humble little coin that's worth more than my presidential salary?" But here's the thing: the historical significance and the rarity combined make it highly collectible. And when you have something like that, collectors are willing to pay top dollar. Okay, you found your shiny 1989 no mint mark penny, and now you're probably thinking, how do I sell this thing and make a cool million? Well, slow down there, partner. First things first, make sure you've got the real deal. If you've verified that it's a true no mint mark penny in good condition, you've got a few options for selling it. You can sell it at an auction house, where collectors will bid against each other. Or, you could try online marketplaces like eBay. Just be sure you get it appraised first, because if you try to sell a $1.1 million penny for $1, you're gonna end up on a what not to do list somewhere. Trust me, I've seen some crazy stuff happen online. Also, don't forget to check the provenance of the coin. If you've got documentation showing it's a rare, verified coin, it could help you fetch an even higher price. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin worth $1.1 million, if you can find one in the right condition. You've learned how to identify it, why it's so valuable, and how to sell it if you ever stumble upon one. Now, I know not everyone's going to find $1 million penny in their change jar, and trust me, I'm still holding out hope for that moment, but hey, at least you've got a better chance of finding a rare coin than most people do. So, next time you're at a garage sale or diving into that coin collection, remember, you could be one penny away from a fortune. If you enjoyed today's video and want to learn more tips and tricks on valuable coins, be sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll get the latest strategies and insights that could turn your spare change into something incredible. Plus, I've got more coin hunting tips coming your way, so don't miss out. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters? You ever think about the stuff you casually toss into your change jar? Like, I bet you've got a ton of pennies just hanging out there, right? Maybe even some from the 1980s that you're totally convinced are worth something, but spoiler alert, not so much. But then, you've got this one penny, this little beacon of hope, sitting in your jar, and guess what? That thing could be worth a fortune. No joke, today, I'm talking about the 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. You're probably thinking, wait, a 2020 penny worth $1 million? Yep, you heard that right. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pocket change like it's your new part-time job. Stick around, we've got a wild ride of history, value, and maybe a little personal anecdote to keep things fun.so. First off, let's talk about why this 2020 D-Mint Mark penny is even worth anything in the first place. I mean, most of us have seen Lincoln's face on pennies like a billion times. It's just another copper-colored coin with Old Abe on it. But, not all pennies are created equal, you see, the 2020 D penny is a bit of a rarity. It's not just any penny, it's a specific one that caught the attention of serious coin collectors when it hit the market. Here's where the fun part comes in. You know that feeling when you buy something that's a little out of the ordinary? Like, maybe you spent extra on a super fancy coffee and then realized you couldn't feel your legs from the caffeine buzz? Yeah, that's kind of what the 2020 D penny feels like. Just when you thought pennies were useless, along comes a hidden gem. Now, here's where the market value comes into play. A penny worth $1.2 million? Yep, it sounds absurd, but bear with me. The value of a 2020 D penny skyrockets because of a combination of factors: its rarity, its minting error, and, of course, the ever-hungry world of collectors who are willing to pay a premium for something unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for limited mintage coins or special errors. This penny, while looking like any other at first glance, has an incredible backstory of being one of the rarest modern pennies. Let me break this down even more. The 2020 D penny has this rare minting flaw that makes it different from the rest. See, this penny has a slight design variation that adds a little more value to it. People love that stuff. They'll pay top dollar for these errors. And when I say top dollar, I mean it. It's like stumbling across that $20 bill in your jeans pocket after doing laundry. You didn't expect it, but now you're doing a happy dance. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I've got a 2020 D penny that's worth anything? Well, here's a story for you. One time, I was flipping through my own coin collection, looking for some cool vintage stuff. I pulled out a pile of pennies from 2020, thinking they were just, well, pennies. Just regular old coins that I could throw in my pocket, maybe toss them in a vending machine and pray for a snack. But then, my buddy, who's an expert in these things, took one look and goes, "Whoa, slow down. That's a 2020 D. And this one has a minting error." I was like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. But nope, it was real. We got it appraised, and sure enough, that penny turned out to be worth about $1.2 million. Insert dramatic gasp here. I'm not saying you're going to find a $1.2 million coin in your collection, but it just goes to show, don't underestimate those boring pennies. They're like the hidden treasure of the coin world. Okay, so let's say you want to get in on this. How do you find your own $1.2 million 2020 D penny? First, the first thing you want to do is, of course, look for that D mint mark. The D stands for Denver, and it's located right below Lincoln's shoulder on the front of the coin. It's small, so don't go squinting too much, but it's there. Look for the minting error. Sometimes it's subtle, but if the penny has been struck improperly, the coin could have missing details or weird patterns. If you spot one of those, take a second look. Now, I'll admit, it's not super likely that you'll find a penny worth $1.2 million, but hey, it doesn't hurt to check. Keep your eyes peeled. You know, sometimes it's those moments where you think, I'm never gonna find anything this cool, and bam, the unexpected happens. Just like that time I thought I'd never find anything valuable in my change jar, and then, well, I found the golden nugget. Or, at least, a penny that got me really excited, the 2020 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a modern-day treasure that might just be sitting in your change jar, waiting to blow your mind and your wallet. Whether you're new to the world of coin collecting or you've been in the game for years, always remember to check your change. Sometimes the coolest discoveries are the ones you least expect, and hey, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies to grow your collection, or just a good old laugh while diving into the world of rare coins, don't forget to subscribe. Trust me, there's more where this came from. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out. Who knows, your next $1 million coin could be right under your nose. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change might just be worth more than your car. I'm talking about the mind-blowing world of coins worth big money. Now, before you roll your eyes and toss that penny you found in your cup holder, let me stop you right there. What if I told you that a little OL 2021 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million? Yes, you heard me right. A penny 1 cent, a copper-colored coin you might have dropped on the sidewalk last week, is now sitting pretty with $1 million status. Stick around, because in this video we're diving into everything you need to know about the 2021 D mint mark Lincoln penny, how it became a superstar, and how you can tell if you have one hiding in plain sight. And to make things fun, I've got a wild story involving a gas station, a cup of coffee, and a penny that almost changed my life. So grab a snack and maybe that jar of coins you've been ignoring, because you just might be sitting on a fortune. First off, what's the deal with the 2021 D mint mark Lincoln penny? So this little beauty was minted in Denver, hence the D, and while most of these coins are worth about a cent give or take depending on how lucky you feel, there's a very special variant that's causing chaos in the coin collecting world. We're talking about an error coin, baby, the kind that collectors dream of and will pay big bucks for. Now, this particular 2021 D penny has what's known as a double die error, and not just any error. This one's got bold doubling on Lincoln's face and even parts of the date and mint markets. Like Abe Lincoln had a twin who photobombed. The coin collectors love error coins because they're rare, they're weird, and they tell a story about the minting process gone wrong in the most valuable way. Only a handful of these error versions have been verified, which makes them extremely rare, and yep, you guessed it, that means they're super valuable. One verified coin went to auction and sold for a ridiculous $1.3 million. Yeah, not a typo. First, grab a magnifying glass, or if you're like me, use your phone camera and zoom all the way in. Look closely at the date 2021 and see if it looks kind of doubled, like someone stamped it twice but slightly off. Then check out Lincoln's eye and mouth. That's where the doubling really stands out in these rare errors. Also look at the D mint mark. If it looks bubbly or extra thick, that's another red flag, or should I say green flag, for money. Why now? Here's where it gets wild. Let me tell you my own penny story. So picture this: I'm at a gas station, half asleep, needing coffee like my life depends on it. I pay cash for once and the cashier hands me back change, including this super shiny 2021 D penny. I glance at it and think, that's a good looking coin. I almost threw it into the take a penny tray, but something made me keep it. I get home later, I'm scrolling through coin forums because I'm that kind of nerd, and I see a post about the rare 2021 D double die penny. I practically leap off the couch, run to my pants, grab the penny and start inspecting it like a detective in a crime show. Unfortunately, it wasn't the rare one, but the thrill was real, and now I check every 2021 D penny I find. Even if your 2021 D penny has the right error, it needs to be in good shape to fetch big bucks. That means minimal scratches, solid luster, no major dings. If you think you've got a winner, don't just toss it on eBay, take it to a professional grader like PCGS or NGC. They can officially certify it, and that certification can turn your lucky find into a 6 or 7 figure payday. Plus, collectors are way more likely to shell out the big bucks for certified coins. And let me just say, this coin collecting isn't just for old dudes with magnifying glasses in dusty basements. Nope, it's for everyone: students, moms, dads, kids, even your neighbor who still uses a flip phone. Anyone can find a treasure. It's all about knowing what to look for first. Always look through your change, especially pennies from 2021. Second, get a magnifying glass or a decent phone camera. Third, bookmark websites like error-ref.com and use a coinbook.com. They're goldmines for learning about rare coins. Fourth, consider investing in a coin album or folder to keep your finds safe and organized. Fifth, don't assume anything is worthless. I've seen people throw away coins that were worth hundreds of dollars just because they didn't know what they had. And if you find one that looks promising, don't panic, just breathe. Contact a local coin dealer or coin show in your area and get a second opinion. Alright folks, if you've made it this far, you're now officially part of the rare coin crew. The 2021 D Lincoln penny might just be the unassuming little hero of your coin jar, so don't underestimate those tiny copper circles. They could be worth more than a luxury car, a college tuition, or like 50,000 Taco Bell runs. Check your change. Double check your change, and if you find anything suspiciously valuable, hit me up in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And now here comes the part where I shamelessly beg, but with style. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about coins worth serious money, or maybe you just like my weird stories and bad jokes, hit that subscribe button, smash it gently or violently, dealer's choice. Just make sure it turns gray and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to turn a penny into a payday. Share this video with a friend who always says pennies aren't worth anything and prove them wrong. Hey, welcome back coin hunters and treasure seekers. I've got one question for you today. Have you ever tossed a penny to the side thinking it was worthless? Well, what if I told you one little copper-colored coin from 1988 with a tiny D under Lincoln's shoulder could be worth $1.4 million? Yeah, you heard me right. One penny, $1.4 million bucks. That's like turning couch change into a luxury yacht. Now I know what you're thinking. Nah, that can't be real. That sounds like one of those Internet myths right, but nope, this is a real deal coin that's got collectors practically foaming at the mouth to get their hands on it, so grab your penny jar because by the end of this video you're gonna be digging through it like a raccoon in a trash can. And hey, don't forget to stick around because I'll be sharing a wild little story about the time I almost gave away a valuable coin without even realizing it. Spoiler alert, it involves my mama, yard sale, and a very angry call from a coin dealer. So what's the deal with this 1988 D Lincoln penny? Why is this plain looking coin suddenly a millionaire's dream? Well, my friends, it all comes down to a little thing called a transitional error. In 1988 the US Mint was doing a little switcheroo behind the scenes. They were changing the design on the obverse, which is the fancy word for the front of the coin, you know, the side with Abe Lincoln looking like he's judging your spending habits. Anyway, in 1988 the new design had slightly different lettering details. Specifically the style of the letters and the word Liberty in the mint mark. But here's the kicker: some pennies struck at the Denver Mint accidentally used the old die from 1987. What does that mean? Well, imagine printing a new batch of wedding invitations using last year's template. Oops, so now we've got this strange hybrid coin that shouldn't exist, but it does, and because of that mistake the 1988 D penny with the old style design is now extremely rare, like rare enough to make collectors whip out their magnifying glasses and start sweating. There are only a few confirmed to exist, and one of them sold for a mind-blowing $1.4 million at auction. Yes, someone looked at a penny and thought, you know what, I'm gonna mortgage my house and buy that bad boy. And honestly, I respect the hustle. Now, if you're wondering how to tell if your 1988 D penny is the special one, you're gonna need a good magnifier and a sharp eye. Look closely at the letters in Liberty and the D mint mark. If they have that old school style from 1987, you might be holding something worth way more than a copper-coated snack for your vacuum cleaner. So a few years back I was cleaning out the garage, you know, the classic weekend project that spirals out of control. I had this old dusty jar full of coins, pennies, nickels, some gum wrappers for flavor. I thought, hey, let's just dump this at mom's yard sale, slap a $1 sticker on it, call it a day. Well, turns out a coin dealer happened to swing by. He picks up the jar, sifts through it like a prospector, and boom, finds a 1969 S double die penny worth thousands. I didn't even know it was in there. He gives my mom a 5 for the whole jar. She's thrilled. I am devastated. Moral of the story: never underestimate the power of pocket change, and always check your coins before you toss them in the yard sale pile. Alright, so here's the bottom line: that little 1988 D Lincoln penny you've probably ignored 100 times could be worth over $1 million if it's got that rare design error. It's like winning the lottery, but without having to pick 6 numbers and disappoint your family. So go check those coins, raid your piggy bank, ask your grandma if you can look through her change jar. You never know what you might find. And if you enjoyed this little coin adventure, if you learned something, if you laughed even once, then do me a huge favor: smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss the next hidden treasure tip, and share this video with your friends because who knows, they might have the $1 million penny and owe you a dinner after watching this. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Stay curious, stay coin crazy, and remember, every penny has a story, but some have a whole mansion attached to them. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and penny pinchers, welcome back to the channel where small change can mean big bucks. If you're new here, I'm your coin crazy host, and today I've got a shiny little secret to share with you. Now brace yourself because this might make you want to raid every couch cushion you've ever sat on. We're talking about a humble little coin you probably walked past 100 times without thinking twice: the 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yeah, that one, that same copper colored coin that usually gets tossed in a tip jar could be worth up to $1.5 million today. I know you're probably thinking, oh come on, it's just a penny, what could possibly make it worth more than my car, my student loans, and my dignity combined? Well, stick around because we're diving deep into why this particular coin is blowing collectors' minds. Grab a drink, kick back, and get comfy because you're about to get pennywise and maybe even dollar rich in the good old USA. Most pennies have a tiny letter under the date. That letter tells you where it was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and if there's nothing there, it was minted in Philadelphia. Now here's the kicker: most Philadelphia pennies are common, but not this one. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a rare breed, and here's why. Well, buckle up because it's all about a rare minting error. The US Mint had a slip up in 1986 and ended up producing a limited batch of Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia without any mint mark. And here's the spicy part: these weren't just missing the mint mark, they had some unique die errors and incredibly high-grade conditions. We're talking MS67 and above. These bad boys are crisp, clean, and shine like they just came off the press yesterday. Collectors go wild over stuff like this because it's a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and historical oddity. In short, it's the coin version of a unicorn with six-pack abs. A few years ago I was visiting my grandma, yeah, you know, the one who still watches soap operas like it's a sport. Well, she hands me a dusty old coffee can and says, here, maybe you'll get something for this junk inside. So I take it home, open it up, and boom, a mountain of pennies pours out. I swear it looked like a scene out of a pirate movie minus the dramatic music and cursed treasure. I start sorting through them just for fun, right, and lo and behold, there it is, a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. I wasn't sure at first if it was the real deal, but after a little research and a lot of squinting I realized I might be holding onto something special. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million one. Mine had scratches, dents and what looked like a bite mark, probably from my cousin Kyle, but still it taught me an important lesson. So what should you look for in this 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? You'll want to check for a few key things. First, condition. It needs to be in pristine shape. We're talking mint state, no scratches, no discoloration, no oops I ran this through the laundry damage. Second, make sure it truly doesn't have a mint mark. This sounds obvious, but trust me, when you've stared at hundreds of pennies in a row, your eyes start seeing things like mint marks where there are none. Or that time I thought Lincoln was winking at me. Third, check for errors. Look at the details, the spacing of the letters, any doubling of the image. Anything that looks off could be a huge plus and increase the value. Now, how do you find out what it's worth? Head to a reputable coin dealer or get it graded by a service like PCGS or NGC. That's where the big money comes in. An official grade of MS67 or higher is what's turning these 1986 no mint mark pennies into literal golden tickets. Oh, and let me save you some heartbreak here. Just because you find one doesn't mean you're instantly rich. There are tons of 1986 no mint mark pennies out there, but only the perfect ones are cashing in big. So be realistic, but also be hopeful. This is coin collecting after all. The hunt is half the fun and the other half is bragging about your finds on YouTube. 1. Never underestimate a penny. 2. Always check for mint marks. And 3. If your grandma gives you a coffee can full of coins, hug her and then start digging through it immediately. This 1986 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might be tiny, but it's got a massive payday potential if you find the right one with its rare mint error, high grade condition and a splash of collector demand. This little guy is making some serious noise in the numismatic world, and if you're thinking, dang, maybe I've walked past a fortune, well, you're not alone. So here's what I want you to do. Check your jars, your drawers, your pockets, even your car cup holders. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a $1.5 million treasure. If you had fun, learned something new, or even just laughed at one of my bad jokes, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe if you want more tips on coins worth big money, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video where pocket change becomes life change. Hey coin lovers, welcome back to the channel where we talk about coins that could literally be hiding in your couch cushions and secretly be worth a small fortune. Now let me hit you with a question. What if I told you that an ordinary looking penny from 1960, the one with the little D mint mark under the date, could be worth up to $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right, a penny worth $1 million and change. Now before you sprint to your piggy bank, take a deep breath because we're about to dive into what makes this coin so special and how you might just have one tucked away without even knowing it. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's talk coins, cash, and crazy collector stories. Elvis was still shaking his hips, the Beatles were just warming up, and the US Mint was stamping out millions of Lincoln pennies like there was no tomorrow. Most of them ended up jingling around in pockets, dropping between couch cushions and being stuck under vending machines, but a select few were different. A rare variation of the 1960 D Lincoln penny became one of the most valuable in numismatic history. Now here's where it gets juicy. The 1960 D penny was minted in Denver, which is what the D stands for. Not darn, that's expensive. Although maybe it should. There are two main versions of the 1960 D penny, the large date and the small date, and you guessed it, the small date is the moneymaker. Literally, the small date version has tinier numbers on the date, particularly that 0 in 1960. It looks more oval than round. Sounds boring, looks boring, but collectors go wild for this stuff. And if you find a small date 1960 D penny in pristine condition, especially one that's graded MS67 or higher, you could be staring at a coin worth up to $1.6 million. Now I know what you're thinking, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and collector demand. Coin collecting is like Pokemon for adults with slightly more back pain. You've got to catch the rare ones and hold on to them like your life savings depends on it, because sometimes it actually does. Now let me tell you a little story, true story by the way. A few years ago I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. A bit of a hoarder, okay, a lot of a hoarder. Weary talking boxes stacked to the ceiling, old radios, VHS tapes, you name it. Well, in one of those dusty coffee cans was a jar full of pennies. I am talking hundreds. I thought, hey, maybe I'll find a 1943 copper penny or something cool. Didn't find that, but I did pull out a 1960 D penny, took it home, got a magnifying glass, realized it was a large date. Womp womp, still worth about 5 cents thanks to inflation. But man, for a second my heart was racing, and that's the thrill of the hunt, folks. Coin collecting is part treasure hunt, part history lesson, and part financial gamble. It's like Las Vegas, but with fewer regrets and more pocket change. Back to the 1960 D. If you think you have one, here's what you do. First, check if it's the small date, compare the shape of the numbers, especially that 0, like I said, oval equals potential jackpot, round equals try again. Next, check the condition. If it looks like it's been chewed by a lawnmower, it's probably not worth much, but if it's shiny, clean, and crisp, you might have a winner. And if you really want to know what you've got, send it in to get graded by PCGS or Zinc. That's the professional coin grading service, or the numismatic guarantee company. Yes, they sound fancy because they are. They'll slap that coin into a little plastic case, give it a grade, and you'll Know for sure if you've got gold hiding in copper now. Remember, the market for rare coins goes up and down, but the 1960 small date penny, especially in top condition, has consistently held high value and even peaked recently at $1.6 million. That's a lot of zeros for a coin that was once just used to buy gum. The 1960 Lincoln penny with the small date, a humble little coin that could turn you into a millionaire if you're lucky, and even if you don't find one, hey, at least you're learning and having fun doing it. Plus, now you've got a great excuse to go digging through grandma's change jar and blame it on coin research. Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, coins that could be worth thousands or even millions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, drop a comment with the oldest coin you've ever found, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next treasure hunt, because here on this channel we're not just talking pennies, we're talking possibilities. Till next time, keep searching, keep learning, and remember, even a penny can be worth a fortune. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters and curious coin lovers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into pure gold. Not literally, of course, unless you're a magician or an alchemist, and if you are, please message me. I have questions today. We're diving into a coin that's quietly been chilling in junk drawers, glove compartments, and old piggy banks across America, the 1978 Lincoln penny. Yep, that little brown disc you probably flipped for heads or tails in middle school could now be worth a mind-blowing $17 million. That's right, $1.7 million for a single cent. Don't go checking your pockets just yet. Stay with me because we're about to break it all down. Now, before we dive deep, I gotta tell you a quick story. So picture this: I was at a garage sale last summer, you know, one of those where someone's trying to sell a cracked lava lamp and a VHS tape of Home Alone 3 for $5. I spot a dusty old jar of coins and I'm like, jackpot. I give the guy $2 for the whole jar, thinking worst case I'll use them for laundry. While I get home and start sorting through, and boom, there it is, a 1978 penny, looking all humble and innocent. Of course mine wasn't the $1 million one, but hey, it got me curious and down the coin rabbit hole I went, and now here we are. The 1978 penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. You'll find that tiny D right under the date on the front side of the coin. That D doesn't stand for dollars, unfortunately, but if you've got the right one, it just might. So why would a penny from 1978 be worth $17 million? Is it made of unicorn tears? Did Abraham Lincoln autograph it? No, but it's still special. There are a few reasons some 1978 pennies are super valuable. Number one, condition. We're talking pristine, top shelf, untouched by human hands kind of condition. This is what collectors call MS67 or higher mint state. Basically, if your penny looks like it just left the mint yesterday and never took a ride in someone's pocket, it might be worth something serious. Number two, errors. Yep, you heard that right, mint errors can be big money. Things like double dies, off center strikes, or if the penny was stamped on the wrong kind of metal. I know it sounds like mistakes should make a coin less valuable, but in the collector world it's the opposite. A good error is like finding a typo in the Constitution. It's rare and people go nuts for it. Number three, rarity. Now, millions of these coins were made, but finding one that's rare due to a combination of perfect condition and a unique error. Now that's the unicorn, and guess what? One such unicorn sold at auction for $17 million, making this humble little penny an absolute legend. On the front you've got Honest Abe looking sharp with that thoughtful "don't spend me" expression, the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year 1978 line the top and left. Then that all-important D mint mark sits snug under the date. On the back you've got the Lincoln Memorial, and fun fact, if you look super close you can see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. No joke, grab a magnifying glass, it's like Where's Waldo but with presidents. Okay, so maybe you're wondering, how do I know if my 1978 penny is worth millions? Well, step 1, check the condition. If it looks like it's been chewed on by a raccoon, it's probably not the one, sorry pal. Step 2, check for errors. If you spot something weird like double letters, a funny color, or a strange texture, that's a good sign. And step 3, get it graded. You can send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll look at it under fancy lights with magnifying gadgets and let you know just how special it is. If they tell you you've got a high grade plus a rare error, congratulations, you might want to cancel your next shift and start looking up what kind of sports car you'll buy. So there you have it. The 1978 Lincoln penny may look small, but it's got big dreams and an even bigger price tag. If you've got a jar of coins sitting around, don't ignore those pennies. Give them a second look, because you never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you liked hanging out today and want more tips on coins worth serious money, subscribe to the channel. We've got all kinds of coin secrets coming your way, including how to spot fake rare coins, which years to hoard, and what not to clean with a toothbrush. Looking at you, Uncle Rick. Smash that like button, share this video with your favorite penny pincher, and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure maps and everyday coins into potential jackpots. Today we're diving into a coin that might be hiding right in your junk drawer, and believe it or not, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, not 18 bucks, 18 million dimes. We're talking about the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Now before you chuckle and say come on, it's just a penny, think again. This little copper Colored Beauty is hiding a story that could make you the next coin millionaire. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's go on this numismatic adventure together. And hey, stick around to the end because I'll share a funny story about the time I accidentally gave away a rare penny at a gas station. Spoiler alert, I still have regrets. Alright, so what makes the 1968 no mint mark penny so special? I mean, it looks like any other penny, right? Good ol' Lincoln staring off into the distance like he's thinking about what's for dinner. In 1968, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the thing, Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark back then, so when you see a penny from 1968 without a mint mark, you might think cool, it's just a regular Philly coin. But nope, some of these no mint mark pennies were actually mistruck or double die errors, and that's where the real value hides. Now you're probably wondering, what's a double die? Is it like when your printer prints the same thing twice? Not far off. Basically, a double die error happens when the die that stamps the design onto the coin shifts just a tad between strikes. This creates a blurry or doubled image, especially noticeable on the lettering or the date, and collectors go absolutely nuts for these kinds of errors. Think of it like a coin with a built-in glitch or rare factory flaw that turns it into a collector's dream. So here's what to look for in your 1968 no mint mark penny. Check the date, the numbers, especially the 1, the 9, and the 6 should look a little funky, like someone tried to write them twice after too much coffee. Look at the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If they appear slightly doubled or shadowed, that's a huge red flag, or rather green flag if we're talking money. And make sure it's in good condition. I'm not talking mint fresh, but the clearer the details, the more valuable the coin. Now I know what you're thinking, this all sounds cool, but $1.8 million, that's gotta be an exaggeration. Actually, no way. Pristine 1968 no mint mark penny with a dramatic double die error sold for a whopping $1.8 million at auction. And the best part, it wasn't even from a fancy collector. It was found by someone who was just sorting through a jar of old coins during spring cleaning a few years ago. I was at a gas station filling up, and I had one of those "I just cleaned my car" moments where I dumped all the loose coins I could find into the cashier's tray. You know where this is going, right? Fast forward a week, I'm watching a video just like this one, and I see someone talking about a rare penny from the late 60s. I go back to check my stash and realize I had one and it was gone. Yep, probably used it to buy a Snickers bar at that gas station. So learn from my pain, people. Always check your change before you spend it, because that penny could be your ticket to early retirement or at least a really fancy vacation. Right now in 2025, the coin market is on fire, and rare error pennies, especially from the 60s and 70s, are in high demand. A top quality 1968 no mint mark penny with the right double die error can fetch between $500,000 and $1.8 million depending on the condition, rarity, and how many collectors are fighting over it. Even a less dramatic error or a moderately worn version can sell for thousands, and if you're lucky enough to get it professionally graded with a high score from a place like PCGS or NGC, you're in for a big payday. So how do you check your coins? Here's a quick strategy: flip them over and check for mint marks or lack thereof. Look closely at the lettering and date. A magnifying glass helps. A jeweler's loupe is even better. If you spot something suspicious or unique, don't clean it, that could ruin its value. Instead, take it to a professional or submit it for grading. Join a coin collecting group online or locally. You'd be surprised how much you can learn and how many experts are willing to help out newbies. Be patient and have fun. Coin hunting is kind of like fishing, you never know when you'll reel in the big one. Alright, coin fam, that's the scoop on the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a tiny piece of copper that could be worth more than a Ferrari. Remember, this isn't just about getting rich, it's about appreciating history, having fun, and maybe, just maybe, getting lucky with your spare change. So next time you get a penny back from the store, don't toss it in the tip jar, at least not before giving it a good look. Who knows, you might be holding onto a six-figure secret. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money, strategies for spotting rare finds, and stories of real people cashing in on coins, hit that subscribe button, give us a like if you learned something new, and drop a comment if you've ever found something weird or valuable in your pocket change. And hey, turn on those notifications because we've got more treasure hunting tips coming your way real soon. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're ready to have your mind blown, because today, I've got a story that's worth millions, literally. Now, you might be thinking, a penny? Worth $1 million? Nah, that's just some wishful thinking. Well, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the 1997 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's got more value than your old college textbooks combined. And no, I'm not pulling your leg. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking your pocket change a little differently. So, grab your magnifying glass, we're going on a treasure hunt. Alright, so let's break this down. You probably have a penny or two laying around, right? Maybe you've got a jar full of them, or like me, you've got some that you just keep throwing into the laundry, never to be seen again. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, just one tiny coin, could be worth a cool $1.1 million? Sounds insane, right? Well, it's true, and it's all thanks to a little coin with a big story. Now, don't go running to your piggy bank just yet. The 1997 D Lincoln penny that's worth a fortune isn't just any penny. It's got a rare, almost magical combination of things that make it valuable. First of all, let's talk about that D Mint mark. This little letter, right here, stands for the Denver Mint, where they made these pennies back in 1997. Normally, pennies from the 90s are not really worth much, but this particular one, in mint condition, has a special rarity to it. Well, here's the thing, even though the 1997 penny is a relatively recent coin, there's something unique about the way this one was struck. There were some that slipped through the cracks and ended up with a rare error, which makes it highly sought after by collectors. When it comes to coin values, it's all about rarity, condition, and demand, and let me tell you, collectors are all over this one like a kid in a candy store. You've got all your pennies organized by year, mint mark, and condition, just like me. Yeah, I've got a bit of a hoarding problem, but that's beside the point. You come across a 1997 D penny, and boom! You've just discovered a rare version that's worth a fortune. I remember finding a few old coins in my grandma's attic, and I was like, wow, I've struck gold. I thought I was going to retire early, but, sadly, that wasn't the case. The real jackpot was the 1997 D penny that came from a lucky batch. Alright, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I went on this epic coin hunting spree. I thought I hit the jackpot when I found a 1995 penny in my couch cushions, and I was like, oh yeah, this one's going to be worth millions. I literally told my friends, guys, I'm retiring. Fast forward a week later, and I found out it was worth about 3 cents, the price of a stale bag of chips. But hey, that's the thing with coins, you win some, you lose some. But this 1997 D penny? It's a winner. I'm talking a potential $1 million winner. The thing is, most of us don't even know what we've got sitting around in our pockets or our change jars. And that's the beauty of the coin world, hidden treasures are everywhere. Now, you might be asking, how do I find one of these rare pennies? First, let me just say, don't go raiding every coin jar you own hoping for a jackpot, you need to know what to look for. Keep an eye on the condition of your pennies. A rare, high-quality penny from 1997 is the one that catches the eye of collectors. The better its condition, the higher its value. So, if you find one in almost perfect shape, you could be looking at something worth over $1 million. Condition is everything when it comes to valuable coins. I mean, if you find a 1997 D penny with no scratches, no discoloration, and no wear and tear, you could have a gold mine on your hands. Well, maybe not gold, but you get the idea. So, to wrap things up, keep your eyes peeled for those 1997 D Lincoln pennies. If you find one in pristine condition, you might just have a $1.1 million coin on your hands. And hey, even if you don't find one, it's always a good idea to check your change, because you never know when you'll discover something that's worth more than what you paid for your coffee this morning. I'm sure we've all had those moments when we've found a hidden gem in the most unexpected places. Plus, who doesn't love a good treasure hunt, right? You might even get lucky, like I did once, except this time, maybe I won't be so quick to call up my friends and announce my early retirement. Before you go running off to search your change jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips on coins worth money, strategies on how to spot them, and the occasional laugh along the way. Stay tuned for more, and if you find something interesting, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. Hey everyone! So, you're scrolling through your old penny jar, and bam, you find a 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. And now, you're thinking, is this thing worth a fortune or is it just another one of those pennies that end up stuck in the couch cushions? Well, hold on to your change, because this little penny could be worth as much as $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right, no typo here. We're talking about a 2007 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny with some serious value. Stick around, and I'll explain why this penny is making collectors break out in a cold sweat and how you might just be sitting on a small fortune. But before we dive into the penny, let's get one thing straight: pennies aren't all they're cracked up to be, right? I mean, we all have those spare pennies that just pile up in random places. You know, like the ones you find in the bottom of your laundry basket, the back of your car, or even buried deep within that miscellaneous drawer we all have in the kitchen. If you're anything like me, those pennies just seem like the least valuable thing in your collection. But what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth as much as a car, a vacation, or even a house? Well, buckle up because this penny may just change the way you look at your spare change forever. And now, let's break down why this 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. It all comes down to rarity, condition, and a few small, almost invisible features that make this penny stand out from the rest of the 2007 crew. First off, if you're just casually going through your pennies, you might think, okay, it's a 2007 penny. Cool, another one of those nondescript modern coins. But here's where it gets interesting: not all 2007 pennies are created equal. Most of the 2007 D pennies are just regular, everyday coins that you'll see in circulation. But the ones that have been preserved in impeccable condition, we're talking about mint condition, are where the magic happens. These pennies are so rare, they practically sparkle, figuratively speaking, of course, but wait, let me backtrack for a sec. So, why does a 2007 D penny in such good condition fetch a crazy price of $1.2 million? Well, it's all about the minting error. Yes, we're talking about one of those rare mistakes that only happens in the world of coin collecting. There's a small batch of these pennies where something went wrong at the US Mint. Maybe it was the die used to stamp the penny, or maybe it was just a one-in-a-million kind of glitch that happens in the process. But these mistakes have caused these 2007 D pennies to skyrocket in value. Now, I know what you're probably thinking: okay, so I need to get my hands on one of these mint error pennies, right? Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but just finding one of these pennies isn't as easy as it sounds. It's not like they're just hanging out in your pocket change. These rare pennies are few and far between, and collectors around the world are willing to pay top dollar for them. We're talking serious money here, but here's the kicker: if you do happen to find one of these pennies, the sky's the limit in terms of value. If it's in mint condition, uncirculated, and with that special error, you might just be holding onto something that's worth more than your car, or your student loans, for that matter. So how do you spot a winner? Look for those subtle details. The error could be something as small as a misaligned image or a doubled die that's not immediately obvious to the naked eye. But trust me, when you spot it, you'll know. Let me tell you a quick story to make this more relatable. So, I was once cleaning out my junk drawer, yes, the one where everything goes to die. You know, receipts, buttons, random paper clips, and of course, loose change. And in the back of the drawer, buried under a pile of rubber bands, I found a few old coins. One of them was a 1995 penny. I thought, oh, it's just another penny, and tossed it in the pile. But something told me to look it up, and guess what? That penny, in perfect condition, was worth a decent amount of money because of a small mint error. It was crazy to think that such a tiny detail could change the value of a coin that I almost tossed aside without a second thought. Moral of the story? Always double-check your coins before you dismiss them. So, there you have it. That 2007 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be hiding right under your nose, and if you know what to look for, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Whether it's in your piggy bank, your laundry basket, or the drawer full of old junk, make sure you check your pennies closely. The right one could be worth more than you ever imagined, and hey, before you rush off to search through your coin jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and the latest info on coins worth big bucks. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on more awesome strategies to help you find your next treasure. Plus, we'll make sure you stay updated on all the hottest coins to keep your collection and bank account looking healthy. Hey there, coin lovers! Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, wow, this little copper disc could be worth a fortune? Well, grab a seat, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of a specific penny that's not just worth a penny, it's actually worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yep, you heard that right. So, you might want to dig through your change jar after this video. We're talking about the 2004 No-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. I know what you're thinking: a penny from 2004? That's just last week in the coin world. But stick with me, because this one's got a twist. Before we jump into all the exciting details about why this penny is so valuable, let me share a little story. I used to think I was pretty good at spotting valuable coins. One day, I found what I thought was a rare 1990s dime in my wallet. Turns out, it wasn't rare at all. It was just a dirty old dime, and I almost convinced myself it was worth a small fortune. Talk about a what was I thinking moment, right? But hey, that's how I got hooked on coin collecting. And maybe, just maybe, you're about to find your next big score too. So, if you've got a 2004 penny sitting around, or if you want to learn how to spot one, keep watching. You'll want to know all the details, alright? Let's break down what makes the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. First off, you might be wondering, what's a mint mark, and why does it matter? Well, the mint mark is a tiny letter stamped on coins to show which U.S. mint facility produced them. Normally, you'd find mint marks like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 2004 penny? No mint mark. That's right, it's a mystery penny, and now, here's where it gets interesting. The 2004 no mint mark Lincoln pennies were actually supposed to have a mint mark. The U.S. Mint accidentally left it off a batch of pennies, and this little mistake turned them into one of the most sought-after coins in recent history. Collectors have been hunting down these rare mint errors ever since. It's one of those oops, but we love it stories, and those tend to make the best coin finds. Well, it's a combination of rarity and demand. When it comes to rare coins, scarcity drives the price. There's a limited number of these misprinted pennies in circulation, and they're being snapped up by collectors, investors, and coin enthusiasts who know how much these little coins are worth. The 2004 no mint mark penny is a real gem, and as more people discover its value, the price keeps going up. And now, I know what you're thinking, that's great and all, but how do I find one? It's not like they're just lying around, right? Well, if you're digging through your change, keep an eye out for pennies from 2004 with no mint mark on the front, right under Lincoln's portrait. If it's there, you've got yourself a treasure. But remember, not every 2004 penny is going to be this valuable. You need that key detail, a missing mint mark. You're sipping your morning coffee, scrolling through your phone, and you happen to spot a penny in your change jar. You flip it over, and bam! There it is, the missing mint mark. It's like you've just found a secret treasure in plain sight, but before you start diving into your piggy banks, there's one more thing you need to know: condition is everything. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your penny has scratches, dents, or wear and tear, it's going to drop in value. The best examples are those in mint condition, almost as perfect as the day they were minted. So, if you're lucky enough to find one, get it checked out by a professional, because, hey, you could be holding onto a future $1 million coin now. I know what you're thinking, I'm going to be checking every penny I own. And honestly, who can blame you? Coin collecting is one of those hobbies where you just never know what hidden treasures you might stumble upon. And hey, even if you don't have a 2004 no mint mark penny, you've got to keep looking. There are plenty of valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered, but don't stop here. If you want more tips, tricks, and insider info on coins worth money, hit that subscribe button, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new today. Who knows? Your next big find could be just around the corner. And don't forget to leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that was worth more than you thought. Hey there, coin lovers and treasure hunters. How much do you really know about pennies? I mean, we all have them rolling around in our pockets, right? But did you know that a single penny, yeah, one penny, could be worth 1.4 million bucks? Sounds insane, right? Well, get ready, because today we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in the world, the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This little guy is causing quite the stir in the coin community, and if you're a coin enthusiast like me, you'll want to stick around for this one. Now, before you go checking your change jar, don't worry, I'm not about to make you feel bad about missing out on a small fortune. But let me tell you, if you ever happen to stumble upon one of these bad boys, you might just want to hold on to it for dear life, the mysterious 1967 no mint mark penny. Alright, so let's break it down. You're probably wondering, what makes this 1967 penny worth $1.4 million? Isn't that the year I was born, or my parents, depending on how old you are? Don't worry, I won't judge. First off, the 1967 penny seems pretty ordinary, right? It's a Lincoln wheat penny, with good old Abe's face on the front, just like hundreds of millions of other pennies. But here's the kicker, it was supposed to have a mint mark, but it doesn't. That's right, no D4 Denver, no S4 San Francisco, just nothing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so what? A missing mint mark? That's like forgetting to add salt to your soup. Big deal. Well, the thing is, this mistake makes it incredibly rare, and rare means valuable. You see, the US Mint typically stamps a mint mark on coins to indicate where they were produced. But somehow, in 1967, a small batch of pennies slipped through the cracks without their mint marks. And since there were so few of them, and collectors love rare coins, their value skyrocketed. Okay, cool. But is this something I can just find in my pocket change? Sadly, no. These pennies aren't sitting around in vending machines or grocery store cash registers anymore. In fact, a 1967 no-mint mark penny in good condition can fetch upwards of $1.4 million on the market. That's right, $1.4 million for a coin that was, at some point, just a humble penny at the hunt for the 1967 no-mint mark penny. Alright, now let's get real. I know you're all wondering, how the heck do I get my hands on one of these? Well, I hate to break it to you, but finding a 1967 no-mint mark penny just lying around isn't exactly easy. But hey, it's not impossible. Here's a little personal story. I remember one time I was going through a box of old coins that I inherited from my grandpa, thinking I was just looking for a few 1940s pennies and maybe a couple of rare nickels. I wasn't expecting to find anything worth big money. But, much to my surprise, tucked in with a bunch of old change was a 1967 penny. At first, I didn't think much of it. I mean, it just looked like any other penny, right? I tossed it aside. Fast forward a few months, and I got a tip from a fellow coin collector about the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny being so valuable. I dug out that penny, and sure enough, there was no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. Sadly, it wasn't in mint condition, but hey, it was still worth more than a few pennies. It wasn't $1 million find, but it sure felt like one. And that, my friends, is what got me hooked on this whole coin collecting obsession. What makes this penny so special? Great question. Here's the thing: coins, especially pennies, aren't necessarily worth a lot because they're old. Some of the rarest coins are valuable because of their mistakes or quirks, just like this 1967 no-mint mark penny. The lack of a mint mark makes it stand out among all the other pennies produced that year. It's unique. And uniqueness equals rarity, and rarity equals cha-ching. The value of these pennies isn't just about rarity, it's also about demand. Coin collectors love hunting for these types of coins. And the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one that, once found, can turn an ordinary collection into something worth a small fortune. If you're one of the lucky ones who finds one of these in good condition, you could be looking at $1 million payday now. Condition matters, folks. If you find a 1967 no-mint mark penny in a pile of change and it's all scratched up, well, it's still valuable, but probably not quite $1.4 million valuable. But if you find one that's practically mint condition, that's when things get interesting. A coin that's well preserved can see its value climb significantly. Here's a tip for all you collectors out there: take care of your coins. Whether it's pennies or rare silver dollars, make sure you're storing them properly. Invest in a few protective holders and avoid touching the coin too much. You'd be amazed at how much a few fingerprints can lower the value. I mean, if you're going to handle a $1.4 million coin, you might want to do it with some gloves on, right? Your official introduction to the elusive and valuable 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It might just be sitting in your pocket, collecting lint, but it could also be worth more than your car. So, next time you check your change, take a good look at those pennies. You never know when one might be hiding a small fortune. And hey, if you want more tips and tricks on finding coins that could be worth big money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos. We're going to dive into everything from rare nickels to valuable quarters. If you're serious about finding treasure in your pocket change, this channel is the place to be. Smash that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you've ever stumbled upon a rare coin. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep hunting, keep collecting, and keep looking for those pennies that might just make you a millionaire. Hey, coin collectors and curious folks. Picture this: you're at a garage sale, digging through a dusty box of old pennies. You pull out a 1979 D-mint mark Lincoln penny, give it a quick glance, and think, hey, just another penny. But wait, hold up. What if that seemingly ordinary penny is worth a cool $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Now, before you go rushing to find your old pennies, stick around because today we're diving deep into the incredible value of the 1979 D Lincoln penny and why it's worth so much. Trust me, this is a ride you won't want to miss. Alright, let's break it down. The 1979 D Lincoln penny doesn't exactly look like it has $1.5 million written all over it, right? But the value of this coin comes from a combination of factors that can turn your average penny into a little gold mine. You see, the 1979 D Mint Mark penny is rare due to a unique set of conditions that makes it so valuable. First of all, it's not about how many were made, it's about how few are in good condition today. Minted in Denver, the 1979 D penny had a massive production run, with billions of pennies being stamped. But over time, many of these coins ended up in circulation, lost in change jars, and generally tossed around, causing most of them to be in bad shape. So finding a high-grade example that's one in mint condition, well, that's like finding a needle in a haystack. And now, let's talk condition. We're not just talking about a little wear and tear here. These pennies need to be nearly perfect. We're talking about a shiny, unblemished example with sharp details that look like it was freshly minted yesterday. If you can find one of these in near-perfect condition, well, you've got yourself a real treasure on your hands. In fact, some have sold for upwards of $1.5 million. Can you imagine walking into a coin shop, handing over a penny, and walking out with that kind of cash? So why are people paying so much for these 1979 D pennies? The value comes from a number of things: rarity, demand, and the market's general obsession with high-grade coins. Some people might look at it like, it's just a penny, but for collectors, it's about owning a piece of history. Those collectors will pay top dollar for coins in exceptional condition, and the 1979 D Mint Mark penny has become one of those coveted pieces. Let me tell you a quick story to put things into perspective. A few years ago, I was at a coin show, just wandering around, looking for some cool finds, when I overheard someone talking about the 1979 D penny. A guy was trying to sell one, and he was asking for $5,000. The guy he was talking to looked at it for a second and said, "Nah, that's not a rare one." I had to step in and say, "You might want to double check that. In mint condition, that penny could fetch a lot more." The guy was shocked, like I had just told him he was holding a winning lottery ticket. Moral of the story? Know what you've got, folks. That penny ended up in the right hands, and it sold for way more than what he originally thought it was worth. Now, before you go rushing to pull out every penny from your piggy bank, let's talk about how to actually spot the 1979 D penny that could make you a small fortune. You'll find a tiny D right under Abraham Lincoln's shoulder. That's the mint mark for Denver, and it's crucial. No mint mark? That's not the one you're after. It's the D that sets it apart. The key here is condition. You want a coin that's got sharp, well-defined details. If the Lincoln bust has smooth, worn-out edges, that penny isn't going to cut it. You're looking for pristine, no scratches, no discoloration, and definitely no tarnishing. Okay, this one's a little extra. The 1979 D penny also has some rare double die errors, meaning the image of Lincoln's profile is doubled or blurry in certain spots. If you spot that, your penny could be even more valuable. Some of these error pennies have gone for ridiculous amounts of money. So, keep an eye out. Okay, let's be real here. Is the 1979 D penny the end-all be-all of valuable pennies? No, but it's definitely up there. While it's rare to find one in that perfect, high-grade condition, when you do, it's like striking gold. Sure, there are other pennies worth money, like the 1943 copper penny or the 1909 SVDB penny, but the 1979 D penny has its own place in the hearts of collectors. The 1979 D Lincoln penny, a seemingly ordinary coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million if you happen to find one in mint condition. Now, I know you're probably digging through your change right now, and honestly, I hope you find a treasure. Just remember, if you happen to find a rare one, don't just throw it in a jar or pocket it. Get it appraised, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be sitting on a small fortune. If you learned something new today or found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and drop a comment below telling me about the coolest coin you've ever found. Trust me, you don't want to miss more tips like this on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and all things valuable in the world of numismatics. Who knows? Maybe the next rare penny we talk about could be the one you're holding right now. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. What if I told you there's a coin hiding out there, just like a secret treasure, worth $1.6 million? Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pennies you'll ever hear about, the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard me right, a humble penny that could make you richer than a small country's economy. Stick around, because in the next 40 minutes, we're going to uncover everything you need to know about this rare gem, why it's so valuable, and how you can find one, or at least, how not to miss it. So grab your magnifying glass, because this is about to get interesting. Let's start off with a quick overview. If you're just getting into coin collecting or you've been collecting for years, the 1977 no-mint mark penny might just sound like another regular coin in the world of the Lincoln cent series. But trust me, it's far from ordinary. This particular penny, without the mint mark, is one of those mystery coins that was accidentally produced in 1977 at the Philadelphia Mint, and because of that, it has become a rare and highly sought-after piece of American coin history now. Before we go any further, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show, just browsing around and chatting with a few collectors. One of them was proudly showing off a 1977 penny that he swore was worth a ton of money. I, being the skeptic I am, just nodded along, thinking, yeah, sure, pal, that penny's not worth much. Fast forward to later that week when I did some research, and bam! I found out that a 1977 no-mint mark penny could fetch up to $1.6 million. I couldn't believe it. Moral of the story? Don't always trust your first instincts when it comes to rare coins. They might just surprise you. Most coins that are produced in the US are stamped with a mint mark to tell you where they were made. For example, a D mint mark means the coin came from the Denver Mint, and S is for the San Francisco Mint. But in 1977, something went wrong, and a batch of pennies was made at the Philadelphia Mint without the usual P mint mark. These coins are incredibly rare because they were part of an error in the production process. That's right, an accident turned this penny into a treasure. To give you some perspective, less than a handful of these error coins are out there. We're talking about less than 10 in circulation, which makes this coin even more valuable. When you find a rare coin like this, you're not just holding onto a piece of change, you're holding a small piece of US mint history. As with any rare coin, the condition is key. A 1977 no-mint mark penny in mint condition is worth significantly more than a worn one. So if you've got one of these pennies in your collection, make sure to take care of it. Store it in a protective case, keep it away from any harsh elements, and avoid touching it too much. The less wear and tear, the more value it holds. So, who's buying these coins? Well, there are plenty of collectors and investors who are willing to drop big bucks on rare coins like this. The coin collecting market is a bit like the stock market, in that it fluctuates. But as demand for rare error coins rises, so does the price. If you've got one of these pennies, it's time to start thinking about whether you want to hold on to it for the long haul or cash in while the price is still sky high. How do you actually find one of these golden, copper, opportunities? You're not going to find them in your regular piggy bank or pocket change. Most of these rare pennies were snatched up by serious collectors years ago. But don't despair. There's always a chance you'll stumble upon one at a flea market, an antique store, or even in a bag of mixed pennies at a garage sale. Pro tip: start paying attention to the dates on your pennies, and if you find a 1977 without a mint mark, don't let it slip away. It could be worth thousands, or maybe even millions. How likely is it that I'll find a $1.6 million penny? Well, let me tell you something. I once found an old coin in my change jar that I almost tossed in the bin. It was a 1943 copper penny. I did a quick Google search, and guess what? It was worth around $10,000. I was dumbfounded. After a quick celebration dance, I rushed to my local coin shop, where they confirmed it was the real deal. So yes, while the 1977 no-mint mark penny is rare, finding something equally valuable, or close, can happen. So keep your eyes peeled, treasure is out there, people. Alright, friends, I hope you're feeling a bit more knowledgeable about the 1977 no-mint mark penny and why it's such a hot commodity in the coin world. Remember, it's all about keeping an eye out for those rare gems, doing your research, and taking care of the coins you come across. You never know when you might strike it rich. If you're serious about making money from your coin collection, or even just learning more about the valuable coins that are out there, hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got tons of tips, tricks, and stories coming your way that'll help you find your next big coin. Don't forget to hit the bell icon too, so you don't miss out. Who knows, the next video might just help you discover another coin worth millions. Hey everyone! Have you ever had that moment when you're rummaging through a jar of loose change, just hoping for something valuable to pop up? Maybe you're hoping for a shiny quarter from a rare year or an old penny that could make you rich. Well, today, I'm going to talk about a coin that might just be hiding in your change jar, the 2017 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? This penny is no ordinary piece of copper. It's worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. So, stick around, because in the next few minutes, we're going to dive into why this penny could be the key to your next big windfall. And, who knows? Maybe this is the moment you've been waiting for. Alright, let's get into it. You're probably wondering, what makes this 2017 D penny worth $1.7 million? Well, let me tell you, it's not because it's shiny or super rare. It's all about a little thing called a mint error. Mint errors are when something goes wrong during the coin production process, and these little mistakes can turn an otherwise normal coin into a collector's dream. Think of it like the time you tried to make pancakes, but somehow, you burned half of them, and the other half turned out perfect, like a golden mistake. Now, the 2017 D penny isn't just any regular penny. It's a Lincoln penny, featuring the beloved 16th president on the front, looking all dignified and wise as usual. The coin was minted in Denver, as denoted by the D mint mark. It's just a regular penny that you can find in circulation, but there's a twist. The specific version of this coin we're talking about has a rare error. When this penny was struck, something went wrong. The result? A penny with an off-center design or some other oddity, and collectors went nuts for it. Let me backtrack a little. See, back in the day, people didn't think pennies were worth much. If you had one lying around, you might just throw it into a jar, or even worse, toss it into the trash. But now, these little guys, thanks to mint errors and mistakes, are worth big bucks. And if you've got a 2017 D penny with an error, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. Let me give you a relatable story. A couple of years ago, I found a 1982 penny in my change. I remember thinking it was just another old penny, so I tossed it into my coin jar. But when I later looked it up, I learned that some 1982 pennies are worth thousands of dollars because they were minted with a mix of copper and zinc. I immediately thought, wait, could I be the next coin millionaire? Spoiler alert, I wasn't. But the point is, sometimes these coins come out of nowhere. You never know when your next find could be the big one, but back to the 2017 D penny, why exactly is it worth $1.7 million? Well, the error coin is a collector's dream because it's a unique piece of history. Coins like this one often get sent to auction, where collectors with deep pockets fight to claim them. In fact, the rarity of these error coins is what drives their value sky high. There are only a few of these bad boys out there, so if you happen to find one in your collection, you might just want to hold onto it tightly, or at least lock it in a safe. But how can you spot a coin like this? First, check the mint mark. If you see a D, that's step 1. Then, inspect the coin for any visible flaws, maybe an off-center strike, a double die, or any other minting anomaly. These imperfections are what make the coin rare, and the rarer, the more valuable. And now, let's talk about how these coins actually end up being worth millions. You see, when these error pennies hit the market, they don't just get thrown into a pile with the rest of the change. They're often sent to specialized coin dealers and auction houses where they're evaluated for their rarity, condition, and the nature of the error. Some buyers are willing to pay a premium for coins like this, making the bidding process intense. And while it's incredibly rare to find a 2017 D penny worth $1.7 million, it's not entirely impossible. So, keep your eyes peeled. You never know where your next lucky break could come from. Alright, folks, if you're sitting on a 2017 D penny with an error, congratulations. You might just be the next coin millionaire. But if not, don't worry, there are plenty of other rare coins out there with massive potential. Whether it's a 1982 copper penny, a 1996 W dime, or an error-filled nickel, there are always opportunities to find valuable coins in your spare change. Or the next time you go through your coins, don't just toss those pennies into the jar without a second thought. Take a closer look. It might just be your lucky day. And remember, coin collecting doesn't have to be all about high-value finds. It's also about learning and having fun with history. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more tips on coins that could make you rich, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on a valuable find. I'll be back with more tips, tricks, and maybe even a few hilarious coin hunting stories. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. So, here's a fun fact for you. Imagine strolling through your local flea market, or even digging through some old jars of change, and you come across a 1973 Lincoln penny. No big deal, right? But wait. It turns out that penny might just be worth $1.8 million. I know, you're probably thinking, did I hit the jackpot or is this guy pulling my leg? Well, hold on to your hats because we're about to dive deep into why this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth a small fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth millions? That sounds like something straight out of a coin collector's wildest dreams. But let me tell you, it's not as crazy as it sounds. In fact, the 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that's flown under the radar for a lot of people, but for the savvy coin collectors out there, it's a hidden gem. The 1973 no-mint mark penny might seem like your average penny, but it's not. This coin has a special place in the world of numismatics. First off, let's break it down. Most pennies minted in 1973 have a mint mark, whether it's the D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. However, this particular coin, the one with no mint mark, is super rare. In fact, it's one of the few pennies from that year that was released without a mint mark. As you know, rarity equals value in the coin world. There's a catch though. The reason it's so valuable is due to a unique error during the production process. See, back in 1973, the US Mint accidentally released a batch of pennies without the typical mint mark. These mistakes flew under the radar at first, but as time went on, collectors started realizing just how rare they were. It's not a 1 in a million mistake, but it's rare enough to make these pennies worth a pretty penny. The 1973 no mint mark penny's value now, you might be wondering, how much is this coin actually worth? Well, this is where it gets exciting. While the exact value can fluctuate depending on the coin's condition and the current market, a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth up to $1.8 million if it's in excellent shape. Yes, I'm serious. To give you some perspective, if you happen to find one of these rare pennies in mint condition, you could be looking at a windfall that most people only dream of. We're talking about a simple penny turning into a fortune with just a little bit of luck and a keen eye for detail. And now, I have a little story to share. A couple of years ago, I was at a local estate sale. It was the usual stuff: old furniture, stacks of VHS tapes, and dusty boxes of coins. Most people were there looking for vintage toys or old records, but I had my eye on the coin section. I was scanning through, and there it was, a jar of pennies. I wasn't expecting much, but hey, you never know, right? As I sifted through the jar, I almost tossed one of those pennies aside, but something caught my eye. It didn't have a mint mark. I froze, and for a split second, I thought I'd found a treasure. I had to calm myself down before I caused a scene. But alas, it wasn't the 1973 no mint mark penny. It was in 1972, and my dreams of becoming a millionaire that day came to an abrupt end. But that's the nature of coin hunting, folks. Sometimes you get close, and sometimes you strike gold. The key is to keep an eye out for those special coins, even if it means hunting through piles of change that most people overlook. You never know when you'll find a treasure hiding in plain sight. So, how do you tell if the 1973 penny you're holding is the real deal? It's all about the details. First, check for the absence of the mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. If you see a smooth, blank space where the mint mark should be, usually just below the date, you're looking at a no mint mark penny. And next, make sure the coin is in decent shape. The better the condition, the higher its value. You're looking for a coin with minimal wear and tear, something close to mint condition, pun intended. The more pristine, the more you can expect to sell it for. Even if your coin isn't perfect, it can still be valuable. So long as it's a no mint mark penny from 1973, it's worth more than the usual penny. and collectors might pay a pretty penny, yes, more puns, for is your penny worth $1.80 million, okay, let's be real. Not every 1973 no-mint mark penny is going to be worth a small fortune. As with any collectible, the value depends on a variety of factors like its condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. But the fact that this penny could be worth as much as $1.8 million if it's in top condition should get you excited. Even if your coin doesn't hit that $1 million mark, it's still a valuable find that could net you a nice sum of cash if you choose to sell it. So, next time you're going through your spare change or rummaging through a jar of old pennies, take a second look at the 1973 pennies. You could be holding on to a small fortune, maybe your next find will be worth millions, just like that lucky collector who stumbled across one of these rarities and made bank up. This is just one example of many coins that are worth far more than their face value. If you want more tips on coins that could be sitting in your pocket or hiding in your change jar, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of information coming your way that could help you turn your loose change into a serious treasure trove. So, remember to subscribe for more coin hunting tips, strategies for spotting rare coins, and how to get your hands on these valuable gems without spending a fortune. Until next time, keep hunting and keep your coins in check, because you never know when you'll find a jackpot hiding in your pocket. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows, maybe someone else in the community has experienced the same thrill of finding a hidden gem. Catch you in the next one. Happy hunting, coin collectors!